Hey, bonjour tout le monde, François Maca ici pour Écho du marché. On est très fiers de vous présenter notre nouveau podcast. Et aujourd'hui, notre invité, our guest today, Mr. Patrick Oliver. Mr. Patrick Oliver is a real estate agent, fantastic real estate agent that works for Groupe Mackay, and we're proud to have him today on our show. So welcome, Patrick.
Thank you, François. I appreciate that wonderful introduction.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm feeling super. I'm
Not too much traffic coming here?
You know, I have to cross the bridge at Île-aux-Tourtes. I have to cross the bridge in Laval. So, you know.
Oh, so where do you live exactly?
Actually, I live in Ontario, just on the other side of the border. Just near St. Zotique Beach, right on the water. It's a beautiful, nice spot, quiet, and fits my needs. But, you know, like everybody else, I'm looking for my next place.
Okay.
And
So if I understand correctly, you're a Quebec realtor that lives in Ontario.
that's correct. About almost 2 kilometers from the border. So.
Okay, and is that for tax purposes or what?
No, it's actually it could be because it certainly is advantageous from a tax perspective, also from a gas price perspective.
Gas price perspective.
Yeah, but it's mostly location.
Okay.
Right. So
But-
I look out my window and I see the beautiful Lake St. Francis.
Oh, that's great. But you can see also Lake St. Louis when you're in Lachine at the Groupe Mackay's office.
Exactly. You just have to be on the second floor.
There you go. And am I mistaken? But you did find love close to Lachine?
You're right, actually, in LaSalle. So yes, we're looking. That's as I said, we're always looking for our next spot, and we are in fact looking in the LaSalle, Lachine, Verdun, Southwest area. And as a realtor, I have an unfair advantage over some people.
Exactly.
I get to see everything first. So yes, we're looking hard right now, and it's a beautiful love story. Thank you, François.
Well, I'm glad because you mentioned that to me, and I know, and we're going to talk about it a bit later, but you did mention that your wife was so happy when you decided to come to work in Lachine. I remember that.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, let's start by talking a bit about you and what brought you actually to real estate, because you're obviously maybe not your first career. so
Perhaps not. No, I spent my career in the medical devices industry, working for large multinationals like Johnson & Johnson, Roche, and Agilent Technologies. I was selling large equipment into hospitals. I visited hospitals. There's not a hospital in Quebec that I don't know, that I haven't visited. We were selling large, long-term solutions for hospital laboratories. So not so much different than what I'm doing today in terms of selling long-term solutions, negotiation, understanding people's needs, understanding institutional needs, et cetera, et cetera. When Johnson & Johnson sold the company that I was with, I was able to take an early retirement, and then I decided to start working for myself. And when I started to look, yes?
Okay, sorry about that. Not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So basically, all your life in the medical industry,
Yes.
and you were kind of forced to stop because Johnson & Johnson's sold the company.
It was a choice that I made.
Okay.
Because I could have continued in the industry, but I didn't want to. I wanted to start working for myself.
Okay.
I've spent 35 years working to make somebody else rich.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I thought I could make all of those same efforts and perhaps do something for myself as opposed for somebody else. And, you know, the one thing about working for a multinational, no matter how great you do every year, they still want more the next year. Kind of like you, François, with your brokers.
and I always said that that's the nicest thing about real estate is that there's no ceiling in terms of what you can make in money. There's also no floor. So this is the disadvantage is that you can make no money, but the great advantage is for people that are really hardworking, they can make as much as they want if they just focus, put their mind to it, and get the right tools to achieve that. And that's, as you know, that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're doing at Group Mackay, is always to try to give our brokers the best tool so that they could perform at their peak and achieve their goals and what they wanted. Yeah. So that's what you...
further to that, I want to say that I worked with large multinationals where they understood it was very important to provide the tools to their representatives or to their team in whatever part of the team they happen to be in order for them to be successful.
Right.
The one thing that I found when I started in real estate was that we went in, we spent X amount of dollars on our training and on our course, we got our degree, and we got out there, and here we are. We have a business, but we're missing something. Clients, exactly. And so I spent the first few years of my career working for what I would call a normal real estate agency company. I was very successful, but I was Rookie of the Year for the first year. In my 60s, Rookie of the Year for the first year for the company that I was with, or the agency. But I quickly found that the balancing of all of the different things that is required to be a real estate agent became quite difficult, and then finding new clients became difficult. And so I looked back.
So can you tell us, like, when you first started, what kind of clients? So, because usually a new realtor, when they start, they go around their circle of friends, families,
right?
And that's the first person you speak with. And once that is done, now you end up like having to search for new clientele. Right. So is that what happened to you when you first started?
Very much so. I started actually in the pandemic.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So exactly what? When did you start?
During the pandemic.
2021, 2020?
2019, and then when I finished my course, and then 2020 was when I started.
Okay.
So started during the pandemic year, and that's exactly what I did. Is I went through my own personal network, found people that were looking for homes, worked with them, was able to satisfy them, was able to find people that were, through first transactions, be able to find people then through second transactions. So I'd we would sell a house, and then that person would need a house. So we would, one transaction would turn into 3 or 4 transactions. Okay. However, I started to run out of my personal contacts, and I had to start to look for more.
Right.
And I found it quite difficult. Looking for expired listings, looking for FSBOs, for sale by owner homes, and trying to turn Proprio Direct clients to personal accounts, or Du Proprio. Sorry, my bad.
So is that what you were? So once you ran out of client with your personal database, your personal network. So you're like, okay, so I don't have any more people. I need to find more people to work with. So, and that's what most real estate agency will teach you, is to go after for sell by owners. And when I started to work for sell by owners, they had sign on the front of their house. It was black and a pink or orange sign that said for sale by owner.
Correct.
And they were pretty hard to search for. And just a side note, Patrick, just to let you know that, as you know, my mom was a famous real estate agent.
Correct.
And when I started, that was my job, was to go. I had my scooter back then, 14 years old. I was going over every street in Lachine, and I had my notepad, and I would take down every for sale by owner, and I would bring it to my mom, which would call them and try to get the contract. So that was pretty hard because we could not locate every for sale by owner in a blimp like this. Yeah. So we had to really run down the street and go after them. But now it's more easy. It's easier because they're all at the same place.
Yeah.
On the Du Proprio website.
On the Du Proprio website.
So and that's one thing.
Or on Facebook Marketplace, or on Kijiji, but less so, more on
Du Proprio.
Exactly.
So that's what you've been taught at first, was to go on Du Proprio and find yourself clients there.
And when you're the 30th agent or broker to call them,
they're happy.
The conversations are relatively short because that's what everybody is doing.
So you're not the most welcome person when you're calling them, and they're not always.
They've made a decision to sell their house on their own for whatever reasons they came to, and trying to convince them otherwise is sometimes working against their current.
So let me ask you, so why do you think people, because we're going to have a lot of people watching us for this show, and that themselves are thinking, should I sell it by myself or should I go with an expert, a realtor? So why do you think people would choose to go that route instead of going to an expert? Because I know that in Ontario and all the other provinces in Quebec and Canada, actually Quebec is the province where there's the most people that try to sell by themselves.
I think it's a misconception or a perception by the owners of the house that they will save money by doing so. In other words, the commission that they're going to be paying to the broker. It's really not the case. First of all, the statistics show that you're going to get a significantly higher price selling through a broker for your home. And in most of the time, you're going to be paying the buyer's broker fee nonetheless. So what are you really saving? Are you saving time? No. Are you saving the details, or are you saving on expertise? No, because this is, we've got 430 hours of training on how to do a real estate transaction.
Right.
It is detailed. You have to be conformed to the laws of that are current today.
Yeah.
We get continuing education every year as a broker on what's changing in the marketplace, what are the rules that are changing. These are things that the average homeowner does not have.
Right.
That's what we bring to the table as brokers. Those people that put their homes for sale on their own have a perception that they will save money. They, in fact, will probably get less for their house, and they will have all sorts of headaches, and perhaps end up getting far less for their house and far less in their pockets at the end.
Absolutely. And to piggyback on that, one thing that is important for people to know is that they're trying to sell their home by themselves, like you said, because they're thinking that they're going to be saving on commission, and they're addressing just a few, like the potential buyers, the potential numbers of buyers that they're going to be addressing is really much, much, much smaller. It's like, it's a website basically that they're advertising on, and the people that are looking on that website, they have the same dream as them is to pay less money.
Exactly.
So there's people that are thinking that they're going to be saving money on the commission by not paying an agent and advertising on a website which attracts maybe a few thousand people, as opposed to working with a realtor that has 15,000 other realtors friend that could bring a client, and that has an exposure that is probably 1,000 times bigger than Proprio, and then those buyers that are looking at that website are just thinking, hey, we're going to be saving money because these guys are not paying commission. And that's what we see ending up a lot, is that the buyer will go see that owner and will tell him, listen, you're not paying commission, so you can give me a better price.
Exactly.
And most people will finally agree on that because their goal is above all. It's not like just saving commission, it's selling the house, getting the house sold. So if they got the buyer now that is saying, I'll buy your house, but you were paying a $20,000 commission, you're not paying it anymore, give me a deal, they'll end up most of the time doing that. And by doing that, at the end, they'll be losing money.
The great Gabrielle Borja from our office often says there's one thing that you can't argue with, and that's math.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
the math here is simple. If you look on Centris at any given time right now, there's about 50,000 homes for sale.
Yeah, 55.
55 right now. So there's 15,000 agents or brokers looking through those homes every day.
Exactly.
How many homes are for sale on Kijiji?
Yeah.
How many homes are for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and how many people drive by your house to see your little red and white sign, red and orange sign that your home is for sale?
Yeah, exactly.
You need to have exposure.
Right.
If you want to get the best possible price, this is marketing 101. You need people to be aware. The first rule in marketing is that people need to be aware of what you have to sell in order for them to buy it.
Exactly.
It's the first rule of any marketing, anything, whether it be a car, a house, a pencil, or the suits that we're wearing. We have to be aware they exist.
Exactly.
And if you just put a sign on your door, well, how many people are going to be aware?
Exactly.
Just those that drive by.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have a busy street.
Yeah, if you're selling your house in a little crescent, at the end of the crescent or the cul-de-sac there, so you're no, it's not going to work.
You're stacking the odds against yourself.
Okay, so you were doing that. So you were calling for sell by owners. Were you calling expires listing too?
I was calling expired listings, but this is another area that's gotten more and more difficult because where do you find people's phone numbers today?
Right, exactly.
Okay, everybody's got cell phone. Nobody has landlines.
It's private. Yeah,
they're all private, and there are softwares out there that will find you numbers, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did was that I engaged two different marketing companies to feed me leads.
Okay.
And what I got was at the end of the month a bill for $2,000 and 5 or 6 leads of people who were really just tire kickers. We don't really want to sell, but we'd like to know. We'd like to know how much you'd sell my house for if you were ever to sell it.
Yeah.
So very bad leads. People who are not really ready to buy or sell, and a $2,000 bill from the marketing company at the end of the month.
There you go.
So that's what that got.
All right. And Pat, tell us. Okay, so you said you decided to go into real estate because you wanted to be master of your domain. You wanted to be able to achieve whatever success, whatever effort you were putting in. You wanted to have the result that goes with it. And working as in a normal job, even if you give your 200%, you're stuck at a certain salary where you're not going to go higher than that. And in real estate, you can achieve way more. Mm-hmm. So you decided to go into real estate. And I remember when you were a student. So can we briefly touch on that? Because I remember being at John Abbott.
Yes.
And I had an ambassador. And for people that are looking at us right now that doesn't know, ambassador at Group Mackay, what they do is they filter all the leads that we generate, because we generate right now like 1,700 leads a month. And those people, they have to actually filter the calls and try to determine timing and motivation. And we had a woman that was working with us that was following the course with you.
Yes, you had 2 actually.
We had 2, huh?
Yes, that's correct.
Claudia and
Samantha.
And Samantha, right, exactly. Right. So, and I remember you coming to the booth where I was.
Yes.
So what happened?
Well, it was funny. I remember meeting you very well. I remember you standing there with your with the $100,000 bill and saying,
"There you go.
This is how much," with your face on it, and saying, "This is how much you can make in the first year if you follow the François Mackay method of real estate." Yeah. And I thought, I've done, for 35 years. I've made my path.
Yeah.
I've made my own path. I've done things. When I started in the medical devices industry, I didn't tell you this, but I started in the warehouse. I worked my way up. When I left the first company, I was director of marketing. I went into sales with the second company. I went into sales with the third company, and I ended up being the general manager. And I did this all with a high school education.
Nice.
So I looked at you and I said, I don't need to have somebody to guide me through this. I can do it myself. And so I went with another agency because I found someone that I thought was the AEO that matched my personality in terms of being exactly like me.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I found was that, his motivations were simple. He wanted to get as many brokers on to his team so that they had that many brokers not on his team, but in his agencies, so that he was then billing them $5,000, $600 a month. And, really everything else was, if I did made a photocopy in the office, I was charged for it.
Yeah.
If I made phone calls from the office, I was charged for it. Nothing was, that $500 basically got me the right to work for myself.
Exactly.
And what I found was that after the first couple of years, and I started to need to find clients, I started to think about, well, what was it that François was offering, in fact?
Yeah.
And I came, and I thought back, and I went back to, I went on the line, and I called you, and I said, François, let's talk for a minute, because I want to understand what it is that you were offering. And it really is a system. It's a system that is solid. It's a system that is based on tools much like I used when I was with these large multinationals that created successful habits, created successful processes that each individual broker can adhere to or use in order to be as successful as they want.
Well, a sexy agent. Could be a sexy agent.
Well, it's sexy to be successful.
There you go. All right.
To be as successful as they want to be.
Okay.
And it really is that simple. You said
like the follow-up boss day, a broker's day in follow-up boss.
A broker's day and follow-up boss. You've contacted all these clients. You set your tasks. You set your follow-ups. Follow-up boss is it's a system. This is it's a contact management system or a relationship management system. There's not a company that I worked for in large industry that does not have a CRM.
That's it.
That they use to follow their clients. Nobody in business does this or does not have this. In real estate, you're the first ones that I've seen use it, not only actively, but as an everyday part of the job. This is your job.
Exactly.
Follow-up boss is my Bible.
Exactly.
I go on to follow-up boss. Here's my day.
There you go.
Here are the clients that I need to contact. And who haven't I contacted? Who should I be contacting? Who haven't I contacted that I should be contacting? FUB does the job for me, and it simplifies my day.
Absolutely, and that's what is going to create success for any realtor, is to be able to work with a larger number of people and to call them at the right time. Because the bad thing or the worst thing is to call someone when he told you, I'm going to do it next fall. I'm going to move. I'm going to buy. And probably in October, And you set up your reminder too late, and you call them and they already bought or they already sold. So working with follow-up boss, like and the way we set it up, because this tool could be set up in different ways. The way we set it up is the way that I learned from my mentor, Craig Proctor, is always to be just before the client takes action, because we never want to be late. We always want to be upfront, and we always want to analyze, better understand what our client needs are to better service them. Because if the motivation is not there to purchase, well, you're going to be working with someone that's never going to buy or is going to buy in 2 years. And so you got to determine where you're going to be putting your energy every day. And that's why we got all those categories. Plus, we got the pool, which are the unreached. And
there's and anytime you've got what I do in my schedule is I block off 2 or 3 2-hour blocks every week.
Oh, hold on. Let's talk, and we're going a bit off.
It's okay.
The thing, but this is super interesting because the clients that are looking at us right now, there's buyers and sellers that are saying, maybe Patrick Oliver's my agent. He's probably maybe my next agent. So they'd like to know, and maybe other realtors would like to know. So what is your weekly schedule? So how do you manage? You got a lot of leads, you got a lot of clients. How do you manage that, and what does a week in Patrick Oliver's life looks like?
Well, the week, first of all, weekends are time with clients generally.
Okay.
Because clients generally are available on weeks. So that's when we're doing our open houses. That's when we're scheduling our visits. For the most part, there are some clients that
it's game day, like football.
Exactly. If you're a real estate broker and you've got nothing to do on a weekend, there's
you missed out on something.
Well, you need to reassess what you're doing.
Exactly.
Because that's where the action happens.
Exactly.
So Monday is usually a lot of catching up. Right. Making sure that you're following up on all of the things that you've done on the weekend.
Right.
It's usually an office day of some sort. Where you're not only catching up and making sure of following up on everything that you've done on the weekend, but you're starting to prepare for your week as well.
Right.
Okay. On Monday mornings, I look forward to looking at my schedule, understanding where I have gaps in my schedule, filling those gaps with activities, understanding where I need downtime, where I need uptime. Always preparing for the Tuesday team meeting, which is always something that we do on every Tuesday with Group Mackay, is that we meet as a team,
right?
And we go through our new listings, we go through our successes.
Yeah.
What are we doing? There's always a training. There's usually a guest.
Yeah.
We do a lot of really cool team activities on Tuesdays, and then the rest of my week is going to be filled with buyer presentations, whether they're in the evening, seller presentations. And I want to make sure that we understand that follow-up boss is one thing.
Right.
But the presentations and the contracts, the brokerage contracts, that's another thing that we can't take shortcuts on. So let's circle back to that I really want to impress upon that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I wanted you to explain a little bit more, is that you just mentioned the words buyer presentation, seller presentation. For our clients that are out there looking at you right now, looking at us. So what is a buyer presentation? So what exactly do you do? Because we know that most brokers, when they talk with a buyer, they're just going to take down their buying criteria over the phone and say, what are you looking for? I'm looking for a condo, 2 bedrooms, $400,000. Okay, I'll send you the list. If there's something, call me. And that's pretty much it. That's a conversation. So how do you do that, or you do something different?
We do something different at Group Mackay. We have a prepared presentation for all buyers, the VIP buyer presentation, where we go through first of all, most importantly, what are your needs? Who are you? I'll use yesterday's example as a very good one. Connor and Lorianne, and they're a young couple. We want to get to know them. They're looking for their first home. They want it somewhere on the Southwest, but they're trying to build their family. So we have to think of the future. One of them works from home. The other one works downtown. We have to think about location. So I want to get to know these people as much as possible. Find common ground between them and myself.
Absolutely.
Where is it that we can connect on things, that we understand each other? Once would go through that, when they don't know necessarily sometimes what, in fact, they need, I can make suggestions to them about what, in fact, they need. They said, well, we need 2+ bedrooms and an office space. So I said, well, you need an office space, or do you need 2+ bedrooms? Right? Yeah. So it's about getting all of these criteria. And then we talk more about what it is that Mackay, or the group Mackay, can offer in terms of services. Okay. Because we are different from the other agencies. I have the personal experience to know that. Okay. We're different. We go about things differently. You talked about your ambassadors. Right. These are the people that gave me Lorianne and Connor's name. Yeah. So they've already talked to them. They've said that Patrick Oliver will be talking to you. That's right. So I go back to the ambassador and I say, okay, well, Sierra had talked to you about this. What is it that I need to understand more about you? And let me show you how we are going to make a difference. And we go through the VIP system and we show them everything
you go
that they
over
get.
Like visually.
With a PowerPoint presentation, whether it be live in person or sometimes whether it could be on Zoom or Google Meet. Okay. I like live in person, but in today's day and age, a lot of people like to go with the technology, which is just fine. But I like to be able to see people and see their reaction as we go through the presentation. So we go through it, and at the end, as much as I say to people, when you list a home for sale, you would never ever do that without signing a contract with a broker.
That's it. Yeah.
And the same thing, because and the example I give is like previously you could go to a home and you could say, okay, well, I'm here without a broker.
Right.
I'd like to buy the house. And the selling broker will say, or the listing broker will say, well, great, I'll represent both sides. And as I said to Lorianne and Connor, how could they possibly represent both sides?
Right.
Okay. When their objective and their contract
is
that
different.
they have with the seller states that they have to maximize the price that they get for the home.
Absolutely.
Whereas you have to try to minimize it. We have to get, as a broker, I have to get the best possible deal for you.
Right.
So I talk to them about a contract and a commitment that I will give to them to provide them with the best possible service, and they will give to me in terms of loyalty.
Exactly.
And not only that, but a satisfaction guarantee that we will provide the best possible house for them. And if they're not completely satisfied with any part of the transaction within the first year, we will resell that house for free.
Wow. Amazing. Very good. And I think, Patrick, you got also two other guarantees. So we got saving guarantees as well.
Exactly.
Because we tell them if they don't save $10,000 off the asking price, we're going to give them back $2,500.
Exactly.
So this is another benefit for the buyers that are looking at us right now to work with you because you have this second guarantee. And basically, the third one is that they can fire you anytime they want. They're not satisfied with you.
This contract is completely revocable.
There you go.
If you're not satisfied with me,
you cancel it.
It can be canceled at any time. I generally like Lorianne and Connor were looking out into the spring, summer of 2024. Mm-hmm. As I said, it's a great time to start looking. We'll sign a contract that's right up until the end of July next year, but it's completely revocable as you see fit.
All right. So, Patrick, to go back to your week.
Yes.
So basically, because, I hear a lot of people that tells me, oh, you know what, there's a 5 p.m. club, there's a 6 p.m. club, there's a 6 a.m., 5 a.m. club, 6 a.m. club. There's even a guy that said, I think there's 4 a.m. club. Like he wakes up, like Mark Wahlberg, the actor?
Yes.
Wakes up at 4 o'clock to train and everything. So some people, they're more of morning people. Some people are nighttime people. And we know that in real estate, we got to be available nighttime because our clients are people that, when they work during the day, they want to visit during the evening and the weekend, like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So as realtors, we got to be available usually up until 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. There you go. So are you a morning person? What are what is your kind of schedule?
My day starts at 7 a.m. almost every day with, and it starts in front of my computer, and I go through FUB, follow up boss. So what are my tasks for the day? I don't start necessarily calling people at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
But I'll start to think about, I'll look at who I have to call on that day, and I'll start thinking about what it is that I need to talk to this person about. I'll look to see on Matrix who has been active overnight or during the last couple of days, who has looked at listings, who has liked the listing, and who has made a listing that's interesting. And these will now go on to my follow-up boss for today's activities. I'll follow up with them. We'll make sure that if they're interested in a listing, I'll call them and say, that one's interesting. Do you need more information?
Right.
What is it that was interesting about it? Can we put this in, and can we start to schedule visits for some of these that you like?
Yeah.
It's really important to keep customers active, keep them dynamic, have them going out and looking at listings, because if they're just sitting on their couches or on their, go ahead.
No, sorry. So what you're saying is that it's really, really important. So you're not a passive realtor. You're not like just telling them, look at houses, call me when you like something, and otherwise don't bother me.
Well, I think that if that happens, if that's the way you approach things, they'll end up calling. They're going to call somebody, but it won't be you.
Exactly.
Okay, they're going to call the person that's dynamic. Yeah. And as I say to people in any stage of the transaction, you want to be controlling the narrative.
Exactly.
Okay, so you want to be, as we just made a sale with one of Philippe's condos on Nuns Island.
Yes, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it. But the couple that I was dealing with, they were saying, well, what should we do? We're going away for the weekend. It's Friday morning, and I said, what you want to do is control the narrative. You want to control the situation. You don't want to be reacting to what's happening in this particular transaction. You want to be the one that's forcing a reaction.
Exactly, yeah.
So, because when you force a reaction, when you're proactive, you'll pay less than when you're reacting. If you're the 10th offer in a multi-offer situation, well, you're going to be paying. You're probably going to be offering more than the person that was in there right at the beginning.
Exactly.
Can that get you the home? Yes. Could you possibly pay more than you should? Absolutely. What you want to be is ahead of the situation. Imagine if you could get 2 to 3 days before the marketplace and notice that this property will be for sale, and you make an offer. Before it even appears on Centris, you get to make an offer on this property. That's what we go for. That's what Groupe Mackay is striving for when we do our marketing programs, to try to get ahead so that we can be aggressive, not in terms of pricing necessarily, but in terms of controlling the narrative, controlling the transaction, being the one that they react to, as opposed to the opposite.
And actually, for your clients out there, buyers looking at us right now, we did go through 17 different methods of finding you a home that is not on Centris. Very, very important, because like you said, a lot of people are pretty passive about it. We strongly, at Groupe Mackay, we strongly encourage our agents to be proactive in proposing houses and searching and hunting, chasing down houses for our buyers. And we came up with 17 methods where to find homes for our buyers that is not on Centris. So this is really, really good tools for people that our agents are using in order to find them the perfect home.
It's really sometimes as simple as really heavy participation in those Tuesday meetings where we're introducing homes that are not yet listed, and there's 90 agents that are listening on a general basis, and we're introducing home, and it's like, well, wait a minute now, I have a client that could use that.
That's it.
Or and let's talk. And we
putting people together.
We bring people together, and the strength of Groupe Mackay is really the team.
Yeah,
the team and the team approach, and just the whole attitude there. It's like my clients came in yesterday to sign.
And
they were like, "Oh my God, this is such an active, such a wonderful place to be." Everybody seems so happy.
Everyone's running around smiling. Hey,
everybody was singing, and it
was Sabrina's birthday. Yeah,
so,
we're saying happy birthday. The clients are there. Yeah, that was fun.
It's wonderful. I love when we can touch clients on an emotional level as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as I said to my clients yesterday, that one of the things that will make a difference is that when it comes time to make an offer for a client, I'm not going to send it by email.
No.
You're
going to be there.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to tell the other agent or the other broker that I want to meet your clients.
Right.
I want to sit down with them. I'm going to introduce my clients, and I'm going to try to touch them emotionally.
There you go.
Because this cannot be simply a transactional business. You're buying a home. This is you're selling a home.
Yeah.
This is an emotional event.
Yeah.
If it was purely transactional, I wouldn't be doing this.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When my clients yesterday started talking to me about their plans and their dreams and their hopes for the future, this, ça m'emballe, as we say in French. I get involved. I'm ready. I'm ready to walk across burning floors to make it happen for them.
Pat, let's talk about 2 minutes because The name of the podcast is Écho du Marché. So we want to know what's happening in today's market. Okay, there's been in the past 3 years, it's been like rocky. It's been up, down, interest rate rising, like almost doubling, and people out there, buyers are. We hear that a lot. Is it the right time to buy? Is it the right time to sell? What do you think about today's market? Could you talk to us a bit about what you're seeing out there? What are the buyers are saying?
Buyers are asking that question a lot.
Right.
Is it the right time to buy?
Yeah.
And my answer is it's simple. It's, if you're not paying a mortgage, you're paying somebody else's mortgage.
There you go.
Okay? So that is, it's really comes down to that. Whether you're being an investment, if you're buying on an investment basis, or you're buying for yourself, the interest rates today at the Canada the rate at 5%, this is not abnormal. What was abnormal was 1 and 1.5. This was the never seen before rates.
Right.
The 3, 4, 5% that we're seeing today, this is normal. This is, if you look back over time, this is more a median or an average interest rate for home buying in the country.
Right.
So what you're looking at right now is there's still a dearth or a lack of properties. The inventory is low, 55,000. I think I heard you said
there
before.
You go. Yeah.
There's still a lack of properties, and so what's happening now is that those really great homes, because people are still a little bit reticent to move. Those really great homes, those A1 turnkey homes, they're being snapped up like there's no tomorrow.
Right away,
because intelligent buyers know that this is still a great time to buy real estate. There's never been a bad time to buy real estate, quite honestly.
Yeah, and the home you're looking at right now, if you like it, won't be available next month.
And it won't be available next month. And if it is available, and if it's available next year or something like it next year, it'll be more expensive.
Exactly.
Because if interest rates go down, then the prices of homes will go up. And so what we're seeing now is those A+ properties, they're getting snapped up still in this marketplace with sometimes multiple offers on the same property.
Exactly.
Where we're seeing is those homes right now that are more in the B and the C type categories where there's more work needed, they're still selling, but they're staying a little bit longer on the market. And you can't just sell anything for any price right now, but everything is, there are still a lot of buyers. There's still very low amount of inventory, so it's still time to buy.
Just so we tell the public out there, I remember, because I've been in the industry for 26 years, and I remember like 2015, 2016, around those years, there was about 120,000 houses for sale on Centris. And when you go on Centris, you guys just type centris.ca. The first number that appears, the number of listings on Centris, and now it's 55,000. When we started the pandemic in 2020, we were at about 58, 59,000. And it went down. Now it's starting to level up, but we're not going to be in a buyer's market before we hit at least like 80,000 or something like that. Right. So we're going to stay in the seller's market, and maybe a more balanced market, which is great for people because, multiple offer situation was really sad for a lot of buyers. When we saw 20 offers on a house, one happy buyer, 19 sad people, 19 sad agents and buyers. That was it was pretty rough on people. But now more balance, people get a chance to see the house. It doesn't, like you said, the house will sell faster than the other ones. Yes. But right now it's getting more balanced. It's a lot of fun. And that's what we recommend to buyers, not to wait. Because, like you said,
and there's an opportunity today to buy houses a little under asking.
Yeah,
in the last few houses that I've transactions that I've closed,
you
for
negotiated
buyers,
a bit. Yeah,
we've negotiated and we've come below asking.
There you go.
Not significantly. We're not talking. Some people think that they can get 20%, 30% below asking. No, we look at the marketplace, we look at the sector, and we say, okay, well, what is the average asking and what's the average sold? And we can come to an agreement on, what's the logical price.
Right.
But we're not necessarily seeing things going for $100,000 over asking at this time.
No, exactly. And also the price range. So we've noticed that everything, let's say below $500,000 on the South Shore or the North Shore will still get multiple offers. On the island of Montreal, a bit more difficult, and everything above 500,000 or 600,000, even more difficult to go into multiple offer situation. So to talk about the today's market, we could say that it's a great market to buy. If you're not paying your own mortgage, you're paying someone else's mortgages. So you better be paying your mortgage.
Correct.
And everything that we see, Bank of Canada said we're not going to rise the interest rate again. It's going to be, we're keeping it at the same level right now, anticipating maybe that next year could go down a bit, but it's too far away. So let's think about the next 3 to 6 months. We're not seeing any big change. So it's the right time to buy, and it's the right time to sell for sellers as well. Because, if you're selling at a certain price, you're buying at a certain price.
Exactly.
Vice versa. So it's all good. Patrick, what do you see, or where do you see yourself in the future? What's your vision of the future for real estate? Like not like 25 years, but let's say the next 5 years. Where do you see real estate going? And Patrick Oliver, where do you see yourself?
Well, I like. I've gotten very interested in working with investment clients, people who are looking for plexes, multiplexes.
Right.
What I like to do is, follow industrial development. And what that means, and the reason that I say that is because with industrial development comes residential need. So what I mean by that is, for example, in Coteau-du-Lac, the Laced area, there's been a lot of development.
Right.
The Laced Airport, right at the corner of the 20 and the 30, has recently been bought by the Hardin Group, who are going to build more shopping areas. Shopping means homes, more jobs, more homes. Amazon and IKEA are going to be opening great big warehouses down the 20 in those two areas. So what does that mean? Well, that means jobs, and that means employment. That means that
for housing,
and whether it be people, yes, some are homes, some are plexes, some are rentals. So I'm looking to help people, in the development area of those types of so following the industrial development then brings me to the residential development and where they're going to come. You listen to our Premier Ministre, Legault, and you have to pick up what he says. So what's he doing recently? He just announced a major new battery development in Granby. I have a client in Granby who just happens to be a developer,
and we got brokers in Granby.
And we have brokers in Granby. So you know that there's going to be 350 new high-paying jobs in Granby that are going to need infrastructure and support and homes. Sherbrooke as well has been announced as an area where they're going to be developing a battery for electric vehicles. So more development in Sherbrooke.
And close to Three Rivers as well.
Close to Three Rivers. Bécancour. They have said that they might just restart the nuclear project that was there. That used to have 400 very high-paying jobs there that were lost in that area. Will be coming back. So these are all areas that I now look at and say, okay, well, as some of my investment people, where can we do some development? Where can we look at what's the future? Because we need to look at not what they're building today. Like the example in Vaudreuil-Soulanges, they're building a hospital. But the investment time was 5 years ago. Okay?
So you're looking at what's coming up. Where is it going to pick up? Where will be more value for your investors?
There's still going to be value in looking at Vaudreuil-Soulanges because there's going to be, a hospital is going to employ 1,000 people. And doctors, nurses, highly professional employment and high-paying jobs. So there's still going to be development in the Vaudreuil-Soulanges area. But, we start to look 5-6 years down the road as well into other areas where development is taking place. So that's what I look at. That's where I want to focus my time, is in development in that area, in those areas.
Well, that's really wonderful, Patrick. I'm really happy we had you on the show today. And so if people out there, buyers or sellers, investors, people you want to do, even investors that wants to rent out their apartment, they can call you. They want to refinance their home, talk about some project, they can call you as well. And if other brokers want to speak with Patrick, they're more than welcome to speak with you.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you for being there.
Thank you very much.